Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joe Salemi. I am the Product Marketing Manager with DynaSCAPE Software. Welcome to the final webinar in our 6-part series, the Ultimate Webinar Series for the Serious Landscape Designer. Really appreciate your time and sticking with us through all 6 webinars. We have Patrick Duchesne on the line with us. Patrick, you there?
I am. Hey, Joe.
Great. Hey, how are you today?
I'm good.
So Patrick Duchesne, owner of Duchesne Design Solutions. Again, I'm Joe Salemi, and today we are looking at integrating the estimate. And so, everything that we've done so far, getting started in DynaSCAPE Design and moving the design through the process to the presentation. We've done 5 webinars on that. Can you believe that, Patrick? That's a pretty intense series, don't you think?
Yeah, I know. I think we got a lot of good info too.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's helping people.
We've got a lot of great feedback, so I'm sure we are. So today we're looking at connecting DynaSCAPE Design to Manage360. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, Manage360 is DynaSCAPE's cost-based estimating, job tracking, costing, billing, and reporting system, completely cloud-based. And so we're the only ones in the industry doing this, where we've got one integrated, complete ecosystem where you can go straight from the design, manage your entire sales pipeline, and get your estimate done and out the door via proposal, win that proposal, create the contract, get your crews doing the work, having the data come back, compare your estimated versus actuals, do your reporting, and sending out your bills. So there's a lot going on, and what we're going to cover today is really just integrating the design to the estimate. We're going to look at setting up work groups, pulling information from the cost book, so all your materials, your labor, your kits, subcontractors, and equipment, being able to label with full knowledge of your cost, your break-even points, your profit margin, your markup, and your total price. And then doing the actual function of importing the drawing into the estimate and then editing the estimate to create the proposal. So Patrick, it's at the point where, you know what, and we have always got to do these slides, right? It would be a proper webinar without doing our housekeeping. So all of our webinars are being recorded, and I want to show everybody that we really are doing that. So here I am on the DynaSCAPE website, dynascape.com/ultimate-webinar-series-serious-landscape-designer. So it's a long link, but you can get there through, if you go to resources on dynascape.com, you're going to go to the blog, and there's a big link for it right there. So the webinar 1, you're getting ready to start drafting. The link is right there, the YouTube video. You just got to click play. Drafting made easy, the details, the presentation, advanced presentation techniques. So all the webinars are there, one handy page for you. And then, of course, this is the webinar today, from the design to the estimate. And it's a profitable design which is critical. And so we're going to take a look how DynaSCAPE Design makes integrating the estimate with Manage360 and how we make it easy. So I think now I can hand that back over to you. So we're recording. If there's any questions, we're going to save those to the end. Please ask lots of questions, and we'll make sure that both Patrick and I take the time to answer those. You can use the question box in the GoToWebinar control panel on your right-hand side. It looks like a little chat bubble. Ask your questions there, and we'll be sure to get to those. So now, Patrick, I'm going to make you our presenter, and we'll get you to take us through the entire process.
Okay. All right. You see my DynaSCAPE Design?
We sure do.
Okay. Well, this is the last webinar of this series, and it's a lot of fun doing these. And Joe and I really we get a lot of enjoyment thinking up content for this to help everybody. And this is one I've been kind of waiting for because this in all my webinars, I do talk about what makes DynaSCAPE great and the benefits of it, and why I like it, and why other people like it. But what I'm going to show you today is completely what separates DynaSCAPE from everybody else. And this isn't really necessarily a sales pitch, but this is something that you cannot do with any other landscape design software. And it's a common question that we get at trade shows of, what's the difference between DynaSCAPE and other programs and other estimating programs? Well, there's a lot. So this allows you to design and estimate in one pipeline. And I cannot tell you how this revolutionized my estimating process when the company where I worked some years ago decided to let me get managed, and it was absolutely liberating. And I'm telling you, your sales will increase. So what I want to do is show you, this is a drawing that I just did for a customer, but we didn't do any plant labeling on it, which is perfect because I'm going to do some plant labeling and material labeling that we can send into an estimate. So the two things you want to make sure you do, though, is so these are the two things you use to label, the little daisy, and I guess these are, I don't know, pavers or blocks or something, but in the plant labeling, when you go into settings, you want to make sure that this says Manage Website, and then this is the link to where it will pull from. So when you buy DynaSCAPE Manage, it's basically like you have your own kind of a website that is your estimating site, pretty much. And in that site, all your information that you build in there, like what plants you're going to use, what materials you're going to use, what kits you're going to build. And kits are pretty much like ingredients to things. So you can have a kit for wet laid bluestone, and in that kit there's going to be your excavation, your base time, your base material, your mortaring down the bluestone, putting the joints in between, restoration around the perimeter. All those bits and pieces that go into doing that task will be in the kit. And what's incredible about this whole process that I'm going to show you is when you label in DynaSCAPE Design, behind those labels is that kind of hidden information that you've set up that you do not have to go online and type in how much mulch do I need and how much base do I need and go fumble around trying to get that information to then put into another program. So this is the Manage website here that we've typed in that we're going to pull from. Oops. And then we'll close this out. And then in the materials, same thing. When you go into settings, it's going to say online, demo, dynascape.com, and you will want it to say use estimating labels. So if you don't remember that later down the road, that's fine. They walk you through that with Manage anyway. So let's label a few of these some of this plant material, and let's make these here boxwoods. So I'm not going to worry so much about labeling organization for now. So I'm going to type in boxwood, and in the cost books, so on the demo site, these are all the boxwoods that are in the demo site, but behind all these sizes is the labor to install each one. So I don't know what these labor coefficients are for these, but 18 to 21 inch, that might be 20 or 30 minutes. This might be 25 to 35 minutes. Whatever you as a business or whatever you as a company decide what that labor would be to install those, that's what it is. And that's not something that you should just willy-nilly sit and just think in your head you're pretending you're planting. This is something that you get your production team together and you go over it. So in the field, and between the field and the designer, accountability between the two of you, so you don't have that struggle of, the designer doesn't understand what the production guys do, and the production guys don't understand what the designer does. So whenever you're building these kits for these things, communicate with your team who knows how long it takes to do this. So when you send them to do a job, they have the right amount of time to do what they need to do, and everybody will be happy. So, see where it says auto count? I'm just going to click auto count, and these are all grouped already. So I'm going to label this out here, all right? I'm going to label, let's do cherry tree. Just type in cherry. Let's go to Prunus, and we'll do an Okami. We'll do a 3-inch caliper Okami cherry. And we'll do, let's do this in Okami cherry. And we will do, let's do a spruce. And let's make those 8 to 9 foot Norways. These here, ooh, those aren't grouped. So let's group those together. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now they're grouped, right? So let's relabel those, Norway spruce. Okay, so behind these labels, there's labor behind here. There's 3 Norways, and if that was 2 hours to install that in your cost book, your drawing has 6 hours of labor right now to install this, plus whatever else you have, roots or soil amendment or a tree, well, no, not a tree stake, a tree stake would be its own kit. So we have a flowering tree, we have an evergreen tree. Let's do some perennials like liriope. So let's do number 1 container, and let's find something that we could make liriope. No, that's not liriope. Let's do this liriope. Okay, perfect. Okay, and maybe one more. Let's do barberry. Okay, crimson pygmy barberry number 3. And we'll make, I don't know, let's just say these are barberry. Okay, so now we have our plants for our drawing, or let's just pretend we've done the whole drawing with our plants. Softscape, in other words. So now we want to do some hardscape stuff, like our patio, and maybe mulch and bed prep, and soil amendment, and maybe the stepping stones from the servicing the hot tub to the lawn. So first, let's do let's do a flagstone patio. So let's type in patio, and we'll do pattern. See this? Now, I haven't really spent a lot of time in here, but this is an incredibly well-built managed system where when you go to flagstone patio, these are all your lead items, which are different types, like full color, irregular, Tennessee crab orchard. So let's do Tennessee crab orchard. That's pretty cool. And we're going to click inside. So I can insert my labels on the takeoff layer if I want to. I can show the quantities. I like to show the quantities because if you have different areas, you can see how much each area is. And I'll show you what that kind of means. So let's go here. So we're going to click go. I'm going to click in this area. See how that just turned blue? That means everything in there that's surrounded by blue is now. What I need to do is get rid of this because on that drawing, that was an overlay of the existing patio. So I need to redo that. It didn't look right. Okay, now that's better. It's making me nervous, but there was a reason it didn't work. Okay, so the blue area is showing when I click again, the software is going to tell me how many square feet it is. So let's run this out here. Pretty cool, right? So 1640 of Tennessee orchard crab. All right, let's do this area in here. Let's say that's orchard crab. Okay, we don't want that. We want this. Click inside. Go. Okay. Let's just run this on a 45. All right. Perfect. Now, if you So I do all my drawings in closed polylines because that's how color works. There is a functionality in color that you don't have to do it, but that's how I do it now, and probably a lot of you do too. If you do have a drawing that you have not enclosed it, just click this by drawing a polygon and click go, and you could do, I don't know, let's just make an area up. Let's do like, maybe we're going to do this in Orchard Crab. See, so you can outline an area too, so you don't necessarily have to click inside. Okay, so that is my orchard crab. Let's do mulch. So we're going to go to type in mulch, and let's do bed prep with mulch. See, so they've got this really detailed. Bed cleanup with mulch, bed cleanup with mulch. I don't know what the difference in that is. Bed cleanup, bed prep with topsoil mulch. I want to do that one. And we're going to use, let's use black dyed mulch. So let's draw a polygon for this one. So let's say we're just going to do this back bed. And we'll just go along and really just click the outline of this bed here. I'm not going to be super duper exact, okay? So here is that mulch bed. Now let's do another one. Let's do this one here. There's one. And let's just do this one here, and then we'll call this one good. Okay. So let's just slide this right there. Okay. So now, if we had done all of it, we know how much mulch we're going to need. And let's do these stepping stones, these 3 stepping stones. Let's see here. Let's type in step. Where was it? Stepping stones, stone slabs. Okay, so let's slide this over. And in here somewhere was Techo Block Maya stepping stones, which are irregular. So these really don't look like Maya. But anyway, let's pretend. So these, we're going to count these. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3 of them. So we're going to label quantity 3, insert. Okay, so there's that. If we did site restoration, I was kind of looking through here. I'm not sure what this one does, but we can just see what it does in Manage. I'm not sure what kind of kit it is. So let's say that in this backyard, so on my drawings, when I'm estimating for clients, what I'll do is this. I'll kind of draw a line. Let's just say we need to find out. This is kind of a nice little trick for you to do too. Let's say this is our work area here, and we want to know how much we need, soil seed or hydroseed or sod we need for restoration. I just draw a line around that and kind of figure how much space we're going to use when we do this work. So I'd say maybe 15, let's just do a 15-foot offset. Whoops, wrong way. Oops, that went nuts. Let's just do this. Let's simplify it. Let's go back in here and do turf renovation. I just kind of have a feeling that we're going to need to restore this, coming through here, all through here. All of this is going to need to be restored with either sod or seed or however you're going to do it. Okay? And then let's just let's click there. Okay, so that just told me how much how much sod I need. So I'm thinking maybe in this kit they may have, I don't know, machine time for fine grading, rock hounding, raking out by hand, you know, all kinds of stuff in there. The maybe 3 inches of soil, sod, delivery for sod, who knows. So that's all the stuff that could be in there. Okay, so let's save this real quick. I think we have enough information here to start to think about getting into the estimate. So now this is really where this gets cool. Everybody has this little color wheel on their program, whether you have Manage or not. when you click this, this is where you create your a la carte menu type of a proposal format or structure. So I guarantee probably 95 to 99% of the people on this webinar right now do not just estimate this whole thing and throw a number out at somebody. You're breaking this into pieces. So you need to know strategically how you want to estimate this. If you do what I do, when I do estimates for companies and manage, I'll log into their manage, but I need to know how they want to estimate it too. Do they want to break out, for example, maybe we want to break out this walkway from the patio, or we want to do the fire pit separately because we don't want to scare them with this big patio number. So maybe you jot down, based on whoever makes the decisions on the estimates, jot down those work areas so you know how that menu is going to look when you do the proposal. So let's go back to this. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to call this backyard plant installation. Okay. I'm going to do, let's backyard patio installation. Let's do site restoration. And see what it's doing? Well, see this? It's color coding these. I'm not messing with it. So you don't need to go through. I guess if you wanted to, you could go. I never even clicked this button, so I don't even know what it does. Site restoration. How about bed prep and mulch installation? Let's just break that out. And how about let's do screen planting. Okay, so here's how this works. Our backyard plants are going to be all these plants except for this mass here, which I only have 2. The patio is going to be all of this. Site restoration is going to be this lawn area. Bed prep is for mulch and soil. Some people like to just break that out so the customer knows, you know, there are times where you give a proposal like this and they say, you know what, we're going to do the plants ourselves or we're going to do the plants later, but especially if it's like this time of year where I'm not a really big fan of planting, maybe you're going to do the planting in the spring, so you still do need to do soil and mulch installation. So you're going to need to be able to show that, and it's much easier to have it broken out rather than having to kind of be on an awkward position where you got to have to figure out how to back it out at their table. And then screen planting, right here. Let's edit that, and I'm going to call it screen planting. No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so watch this. This is pretty cool. Backyard plant installation. I'm going to go left-click and right-click everything in the backyard plant installation, which includes the barberries, left-click, right-click. So you see the colors matched. All you're doing is color coding right now. What else did I label? Thought I labeled more than that. Oh, I thought I did some boxwoods or something like that. Where are all those labels? Oh, I'm looking for colored ones, and they're not colored. Okay, here's my winter gems. Left-click, right-click. I thought I did some barberries. Yeah, I got those, Oh, Lariathi. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken these plants and put them in a work area. Backyard patio installation. Select. Really easy. 1, 2. Why is that twice? 1640 Tennessee Orchard. Oh yeah, those are those 2. That's the pad and that's the walkway and the patio. Site restoration. Select. I'm going to left click and right click this. Bed prep, that would be the mulch. So this is bed prep. This is bed prep. Did I just do 2? 3, bed prep. Okay, so that's blue. Screen planting. Select these. 1, 2, right click. Let's say there's like, let's say there's 75 stepping. Let's just pretend there's a bunch more stepping stones. Let's do this. Stepping stone installation, because sometimes maybe they've got a lawn area that you want to do stepping stones through, like from here all the way to the front. That's something that you'd want to be able to back out in a proposal easily. So stepping stone installation, left click, right click. Okay, now we just kind of cross-check and make sure we got everything. And it looks like, Joe, unless you see something I missed, I think we're good. So I'm going to close this and save it. Okay, now we're good. So we're going to bundle this, and we're going to go to File, Export to DMX. It doesn't say it here, but I think it says it. It's the file type. DynaSCAPE Manage.
It's a DMX, file, which is DynaSCAPE Manage Export DMX.
Yes, not the wrapper. Or
no, definitely not the wrapper. No.
No, we're not doing him. Okay, so we're going to click this button, and it's going to ask us where we want to save it. So you can do this however you want, but I saved this as, what's their name? Wagner Backyard DMX, okay? Save. See, it says .dmx. Good, perfect. Okay, we're done with this. So now we jump in to our estimate. This is the customer, this is the estimate number, the designer. We could do whatever. You could put up whatever you want here. This is stuff that you could set up in the beginning. So now we want to go to items. Now, right here, if you don't have to do that with, for those of you who don't have Manage, if you have a job that you just need to price 10 boxwoods or whatever, you can do it right in here by just going into adding plants and going to boxwoods and just doing it on the fly. Or if you don't have DynaSCAPE Design and you have Manage, this is how you would do your estimate. So we're going to go Actions, Import, and we allow Always. And we're going to go find that file, and it's right here. We're going to click Open, and we're going to click Upload. It's going to kind of tell you here if you haven't selected a work area, or not a work area, but what's it called, a lead item. And it's kind of nice because this gives you one more opportunity to maybe change this. Let's say you did this estimate or drawing and you wanted to change the material. I guess the right practice would be to go back and change the drawing so it coincides with the managed estimate. It's really what you want to do because you don't want things to be not coincide with one another. And you can not include this. So maybe we just don't want to price these stepping stones. You can eliminate those. You can cut these things out, whatever you want to do. All right, let's click Submit. This is where the magic happens. Okay. So we're going to go to Items. So check this out. These are all the work areas we made, and they're probably in the same order. Backyard, plant, patio, site, bed. What do these say? Plant, patio, no, I guess not, maybe not. All right, so these are all our work areas. If I expand this, okay, so this works out perfectly. Backyard plant installation. It shows us the plants we picked, how many of them, the labor, and the price to do this. So look at this, 18.5 hours labor. That is based off of the amount of time that we told ourselves we'd have to install that. And it's marking this up based on a profit margin that you would establish. And that gets more into like all the overhead recovery stuff that Joe really is the wizard with. Screen planting. Here's those 2 trees. Here's the 6 hours. So actually I was pretty close when I said 2 hours for the Norways because that's what they, well, almost. Okay, backyard planting or patio. So look at this. Gives us the labor it takes to do it, how much material. We need 20 tons of material, all the mortar we need, sand, the bonding agent, all the little bits and pieces. What's this? That's just, these are the two areas. Okay, so this was the one area for 1640, and this is the other area. All right, let's see if I can go in 1640. Well, what this system will do, if this were pavers, you can set it up where if you have a patio that you did a measurement for and it said 400 square feet, you can tell Manage that every 1 square foot, the system needs to give you 1 or 10% more than that. So when you bring this in, it's not going to give you 400 square feet. It's going to give you 440 square feet for cuts. And you can bump that to 15% or 5 or whatever you want. So that is the thinking that this system does. So all of these bits and pieces, look at this, enriched topsoil, pre-emergent, walk behind, they've even got chiller. Now they don't have a unit cost, which I don't know why that would be, but maybe there's a reason for that. So here's all those work areas. Then what you want to do is really organize these and kind of tell the story where we didn't put any demolition, but we could still do that right now. And I'm not sure in their cost books how we would do that. So I would probably have removals. So we could put maybe removals up front. Let's just do this. Let's go to labor and let's just find, let's use demolition. And let's say that we have an existing walk-in patio. It's going to take, let's base this off of maybe 3 guys. I don't know. It'll say in the estimate what it's based off of their crews. But let's say it's going to take 3 guys a day and a half to remove this stuff. So that's 45 hours. And we're going to add a work area to this estimate. And it's going to be called a removals and disposals. Okay? Good. Now, what about miscellaneous? Let's just add, let's say we need a permit. Let's just pretend this is a permit to remove a deck or something. We're going to do one of those in the removals and disposals also, and we're going to add it to the estimate. So now we have removals and disposals. That is the first thing we would do. The next thing we would do would be the patio. So I'm going to slide this up. Then we're going to do the bed prep. Then we do the plantings, the screen plantings. We would do this before this and this. So when you present your proposal, you can do it in a nice organized way rather than jumping from bits and pieces. So now this tells us exactly how much each work area is. If I wanted to change the profit margin of this, well, let's do this. Let's say you present this and your customer says, this is great, can we do this for $24,000? Well, this isn't something you really do on the fly there. You might, but I don't really suggest it. Say, okay, well, if this is 20, first of all, you want to remember this number because you want to go back to what the system built it. So 22.8. So Joe, remember that number for me because I'll probably forget. But
yeah, I got it.
24,000. Okay. So if we do 24,000, we're down to 21.2. Okay, well, you talk to the sales manager at your business or you decide, are we willing to do that? Or let's say you're a salesperson and you're told, we do not sell anything for under 20%. So if you wanted to see what 20% was, this tells you right here, if your customer asks you to do this job for anything less than this, you have to either say, I can't do it, or you need to talk to somebody above me because this is below my pay grade, maybe, I don't know. So this is a really nice thing that will be able to tell you what you can do on this job for your client. Okay, so we're going to save this. Now this gets into general conditions, and Joe, maybe you can kind of jump in because you can explain this a lot better than I can. Do you want me to give you control? Or
yeah, no, and
okay.
you don't even have to give me control.
Okay.
What I'll do is just explain what sort of needs to happen from here. And so what the system is doing is saying, hey, do you want to recalculate your general conditions? And we haven't added any general conditions at this point. I mean, within some of the kits that are included here, so you could include general conditions as part of kits, but you could also add them separately. And so general conditions are things like design fees, freight, admin, cleanup. If you're going to be on site for a long time, if you want to have a porta potty, dumpsters, all the things that you need to do, mobilization time, load and unload time, things that you need to do as part of the job that you will incur a cost as a result, whether it's labor or direct cost as a result of doing that job, but don't directly contribute to the build-out of that project. You'd set those as a general condition, and you can choose to have general conditions not show up on the proposal. So that's really nice because you're not going to show your mobilization time. You're not really going to show the cost for the porta potties. You're not going to show that. That just gets rolled up into the work area prices. And the way that these general conditions get set out is a ratio based on the different work areas. And you can see in the top of that screen there, you have the estimate setting. So you have the total estimate hours, the total working hours per day, how many remaining hours per day that you have, your total crew size, the total amount of general conditions per day that's been associated to the estimate, and then the total working days for this estimate. So really, really nice. And when you attach all this, it gets distributed among all the work areas.
Okay, so there's all the general conditions right there. So this is where, are you there, Joe?
Yep, still here.
Okay, so, and maybe you can explain this better than me, but based on the percentage of labor necessary to do each one of these tasks, it proportionally spreads all this out over or across the whole entire estimate.
That's exactly what happens, absolutely.
Okay, so now we have all this, and let's save it. So also, anybody who owns Manage knows this, but if you don't, this is something that you can do on an iPad out in the field. You can do it on your phone. This would be very uncomfortable on a cell phone to do, but if you really had to do it, you could. But
yeah, you really want to do something like a tablet. It's about as small as you want to go. Don't really do this on the phone. It's not meant, and it doesn't work so great. Tablet, laptop are ideal out in the field if you're going to do it out in the field. But it's nice to be able to sit at a desk and really go through your numbers and not feel the pressure to have to get something out quick.
So we'll save this, and now we can open this from any device. Now, let's get into the proposal. So let's just collapse all this. And just like what I do when I kind of look over estimates, though, I'll go through and make sure everything's good. And then if it's good or I need to bump something up, I'll close it out. I'll close it, close it, close it, close it, close it. And when I know that these are all collapsed, I know that I've gone through and made sure everything looks right. So you want to jump into the proposal, Joe?
Sure.
Okay. So now we're going to view the proposal. So this is something that the rerun landscaping difference. Cool. Okay. This all is kind of set up based on a template that you as a business would send into DynaSCAPE, and then they kind of code this to spit this out every time. Is that basically a reasonable way of saying it, Joe?
Yeah, so essentially you're going to set up your template for what you want your proposals to look like, and that all happens here. So, in your proposal header, essentially you're going to, and my recommendation for sending out a landscape proposal, you'll always start by telling people why they should love you. Then you present the work that you propose to do and the price, and then at the end you include all your terms and conditions. And that's the proposal footer. So in the proposal footer is where you would set up all of your terms and conditions.
Okay. So we'll view proposal. You want to have Microsoft Word for this. I'm going to save it, and we're going to open it. So here's your proposal with your setup, just like we talked about. All the stuff Joe is saying, how great you are. And then here is all the stuff that you're going to be doing. Here's the work areas. Now, I don't have this, obviously I haven't gone through and set this up, but you can really pick and choose in your estimate what you want to show. You can show a lot more detail. You can show less detail. It just depends on your client and what you want them to see. And then in this, in Manage, you'll set up some payment terms where you can have one that says 30, 30, 30. You can have one that says whatever.
So in this case, you've got it set up as a triple draw type payment schedule. You know, you've got the initial draw for the deposit. When you start the project, you've got then the second draw, and then upon completion, you got the final draw.
Yeah, and you can set all those up. Yep. And then here's all your payment terms. I always like when people have your client sign it here. Oh, actually, okay, good. There's initials. You always want them to sign all of this stuff because you want
the proposal signatures, so you can set it so that the customer has to sign or at least initial every single page, and that covers you in the sense that they're acknowledging that they have read each page of the terms and conditions or the entire proposal. They're signing off that they have done that.
So at this point, we're in good shape. You print this out, print 2 copies, one for you, one for the client, take it with you, sell the job, and then you move it into production, which is a capability of the software too that we won't get into today. But so in a nutshell, this shows you how incredibly powerful and how easy it is to build an estimate. So a couple of years ago, especially when I started using Manage, in the beginning, I started to track my time of how much money I can design and estimate in a day. And all you designers out there know some days you get absolutely nothing done because your brain's not working, and it's better to just go outside and do something or whatever, walk away. But I can design, color, and estimate $50 to $100, $120,000 in an 8-hour period, and that's designing it, coloring it, the whole proposal out the door. Now that's if I'm getting all the information. That's a pretty good number to be able to accomplish in that small of a period. I mean, look at how much time it takes me to estimate an $80,000 or $100,000 job, and I've heard people at trade shows say it takes a couple days to do a $100,000 estimate, and we don't make fun of them because that's just what it takes them to do. But it makes you cringe when you know there's something out there that's just so much easier. Where a $100,000 drawing, you can see right here with $100,000. I mean, this drawing, I don't know what this is going to sell for, but for this back bluestone and everything, I mean that could be $65,000, $75,000. You see how quickly I labeled 20-30% of it. So I spend 10 minutes labeling it. I bring it in. You can have that whole thing done in 20 minutes, 15 minutes, estimate done. So very powerful. I think I've proven my point. So,
I think you did. I think you did.
Yeah, okay, so I think I'll quit there, and I'll hand it back to you before I sound like a skipping record.
No, you're good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Have Manage360 or haven't had the chance to invest in it yet. Manage360 is an end-to-end landscape business solution. It is cloud-based, so it can be used on any device. Essentially, you're just opening up a browser and loading up your customized website that we create for you. It is a company-wide license. We have role-based security, which is really nice. So estimators only get access to the things that estimators should. Foremen should only get access to the things that foremen should, like timesheets. So we have a complete web-based security model. And implementation, consultation, and training in a remote way, so live but remote, is all included with the purchase of Manage360. So that's really important too. So when you buy the software, you get our expertise. We help you implement the software and configure it specifically to your business. And we show you how to use it from end to end. So we don't let you go until you're comfortable with knowing how to use the software in its entirety. So I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. A couple of things before we do wrap up the webinar. We're going to be hosting a workshop, and so January 24th to 25th in Charleston, South Carolina, we have put together a day-and-a-half workshop. It'll be face-to-face, in person, and the seating is limited, but we'd like to get as many people as possible so we can fill the room. And we're bringing Patrick, so Patrick Duchesne will host the workshop, and we're going to cover DynaSCAPE Design and color, and maybe a little bit of SketchUp. And it's going to be super intense, and a day and a half of very, very intense training, and it's all going to be powered by DynaSCAPE. So consider that if you're interested. Please reach out. My name is Joe Salemi. My email address is jsalemi@dynascape.com. You can reach me anytime, 1-800-710-1900. My direct extension is 279. My email address is there. Send me an email. Give me a call. Let me know if you're interested. And likewise, if you're watching the webinar series and thinking that DynaSCAPE is right for you and you'd like some pricing information, please reach out. I'd be happy to provide that to you and help you get up and running as soon as possible. Patrick, thanks so much for your time. We've had a
You're welcome.
We started this webinar series back in the beginning of October, and over a couple of months, here we are, December the 1st, and finalizing webinar number 6. So thank you, very much appreciated. To everyone that's taken the time to join us from all over the world, we've got people from all over the United States and Canada. We have people joining us from Spain, Italy, Portugal, Australia, New Zealand, some from Saudi Arabia, some from Qatar. So really, really appreciate everyone joining us. Thank you so much, Patrick. Looking forward to doing something like this again. We'll talk to you.
You too.
Thank you so much.